Yo, what's going on, guys? Reversal here, and today I'm going to be doing an updated Mathmech deck profile. After all the World Championship qualifiers are now over, can kind of see how the format's shaping up. We still have 2 more months until there's a ban list at least, so this is what we got for the next couple months. It's a lot of Kashtira, as we all know. And it's like the Runic Sprite, Melfi Sprite, Dragon Link, Branded, Labyrinth, all that good stuff. I feel like this deck has a pretty good matchup spread into stuff that isn't the Bestial decks and the Shifter decks. But those cards do hurt quite a bit, so I kind of built this to counter them as best as possible. Mainly the side deck cards that I'm choosing to run. So yeah, I'm just gonna get straight into it. Just Mathmech, similar to last one. Got 1 circular still, unfortunately. 3 diameter, 1 sigma, 2 addition, 2 subtraction, 3 parallel exceed, and the Defensor package. Same as last time. I still think Defensor is the best additional normal summon you could run, since it's a 1-card combo, has a much higher ceiling, and this card is just really nice. The upside to this card, like I said, is the ceiling. And the upside to the spirits that you'll see, like the 2 Aratam and the 2 Sakitam instead of these, is those cards are a little better into like Shifter if they shotgun it, which a lot of people are to play around tactics. But if they don't shotgun it, you can't even fall back on Baguska, because you'll get Cyberse locked by the time you can even get there. So, but a lot of people are shotgunning it, I guess, so it's been working out for people. But I don't personally like Baguska very much. I feel like there's too many board breakers in the format. These decks have in-engine outs to it. Whether or not they get to it is one thing, but I feel like it's not consistent enough to win you games. So I prefer to play the higher ceiling 1-card combo as opposed to the lesser one that's more disruptible. Drawing the Guardian sucks, but it is what it is. Drawing these 2 together is terrible. I only play 1 Sigma in this version. I haven't missed the second one at all. Like sometimes Runic or Cash will banish it, but I mean, it is what it is. Very low percentage. 3 mining, 3 small world, 1 equation, 1 super factorial. Don't really need to explain these. Consistency cards, and then broken trap card extender. For the non-engine, I opted to play 3 Ash, 3 Nib, 2 Veiler, 3 Imperm, 3 Book of Eclipse, 2 Talents. This deck you kind of have to play some number of hand traps, basically because they're monsters, like for Small World, more than anything. But hand traps in this deck are also just good because you want cards that are good going first and second in this deck, because sometimes you don't end on like a ton. It's just the super factorial and then whatever else you can get, basically. And sometimes you have to rely on your non-engine to supplement the super factorial, so you want stuff that's good with it for the most part. This is what I went with. Ash is just generically good into everything. It's really good versus like Branded, Labyrinth. Nib, I like this card. In this deck, it's a good Small World bridge. I feel like Cash gets punished by this card a lot because they are not respecting it at all for some reason. Like I watched all the WCQ stuff and I don't think I saw a single Cash player play around Nib in the entire tournament that I watched, so I like Nib, it's fine. 2 Veilers, I don't particularly like Veiler, but you have to run at least 1 in this deck for a Small World bridge, I think. And I just run 2 just because it's like a decent enough card. It's not once per turn. It pairs well with this. So does Imperm. Imperm's another. It's just a better Veiler that doesn't play into talent, so it's just fine. And it's gonna rise hard out. You can notice I'm not playing a Kaiju in this version. I think it conflicts with Defensor too much. I'm not a huge fan of it. I don't think you really need it either. Like you only want it for Kashtira anyways, and I feel like you have enough cards to deal with it already, so I think it's fine. Book of Eclipse. This can be Eclipse or Moon, but I would have one of them in the deck for sure because I think these cards are very strong right now, especially since they can be used going first, going second. They're chainable, which is very important to Eradicator, Anti-Spell, stuff like that. It's good versus more than just cash too, which is nice. But Book of Moon is definitely something I might consider going back to, but I feel like this one has a much higher impact going second. Because like I said, Cashtira is not really ended on a rise pass anymore, so. Let me get the two talents. This card's okay. I have a love-hate relationship with it. Sometimes it's just dead going first. But if you do resolve it going first, you often just win the game on the spot. As long as their hand trap didn't like prevent you from getting to at least super factorial. And I didn't want to side this card, so I just decided to main two. Maybe we'll go down to one for something else, but for now, I'm liking this lineup the way it is. This is 40 cards in the main, as usual. Extra decks, 2 Alimbertians, 1 Laplacian, Link Decoder. This card's crazy. This was a very nice addition to the deck after Circular got limited. Lingeribo, Crystal Heart, Heat Soul, Update Jammer, Transcode Talker, Access Code, Standard, like just kill your opponent. The Terahertz, this card's insane. This card just gets huge on its own. It can dump you math names for your super factorial, which comes up a lot with defensor combos. It can dump you this card, which is a spell trap negate, which is nice to have as well. And it can dump you something else that's in the side that I'll get to, and I'll show a combo for at the end when I get there. Now for the last 3 slots, you have 1 Splash Mage that's mandatory, and these last 2 slots, there's a few options. This extra deck's very tight. For the time being, I'm running a 2nd Splash Mage and the Link Spider because this is for Nib mainly, but there's other decks that give you like tokens, which is nice to be able to get rid of them as well. But the only thing I would consider changing is the 2nd Splash Mage because you often go into Transcode in your first turn, and then on your follow-up turn 3, the Crystal Heart can revive this, so it's kind of like a 2nd Splash Mage already. If I were to take one of these out, I have to experiment with it still. It would probably be for the 2nd access code because having 2 of these, I feel like is nice for when you get in the beard. I'm not sure how mandatory the 2nd one is now, but that's something I need to play with more to really see. And then the other one would be a Cyberse Wicked. This card doesn't come up when you're doing like the full combo that I'll show at the end, but when you're doing like a 1-card defensor combo or something, you can make Terahertz and climb into this like on the way there so you can get follow-up. So it's pretty decent, but I haven't really missed it, to be honest, since taking it out for now, but we'll see what this last slot ends up being. But these are like the 14 ones that I'm not considering changing. So that's it for the extra deck. For the side deck, this is where I put most of the thought into. We have 3 ghost spells, 3 drolls. I feel like I was maining these last time when I made it like over a month ago, but I don't think these are good enough to main right now. I think they're decent, but I prefer them in the side. Bell's obviously here for Bystials more than anything, but it has general application in the format. It's just like, you see these 2 cards in most people's side decks, I feel like. Just because Droll can be very high impact, and Bell is good versus like specific decks like Lab, Branded, pretty good versus Runic. That's just good for protecting your super factorial. Then we got the 1 call by. I was maining this before. I don't like it in the main. I feel like these are the cards that you want to call by most of the time, and people are not maining these cards. And then Ash Blossom sometimes hurts you. Most of the time I feel like you can play through it. And even that's something that a lot of people are siding nowadays in favor of board breakers. So I feel like call by is fine enough in the side. I wouldn't change it for now. 2 Cosmic and Duster for back row hate. One of the Cosmics because they're chainable, and they're also very nice to side and go first sometimes. Could play Twin Twisters because it gets rid of 2 cards instead of 1. We need to chain it to like an anti-spell or an Eradicator when there's multiple back row. But I prefer the Cosmics personally. Now for the main side deck piece is the 2 Thrust. I feel like this card's really nice in this deck. I don't feel good about maining it particularly, but I really like siding it. I feel like this is nice versus Droll to set you your super factorial, and it's really nice versus Shifter to set you the Druid Cannon. This card basically says, like, if you have this and you get shifted and you set this, if they don't deal with this, you're surviving to the next turn pretty much. And I like that. This card's really, really good. And I wouldn't change this package, I don't think. And then going second, you have the this to search with Rust. You have the tactics that are in the main deck. Then you have like a sign at mining or a small world if you need to search for engine. I kind of wanted one more search target for this for going second, but I don't really have any space for it. So, and I wasn't really sure what to put because I don't like Dark Ruler that much in this deck either. So I feel like this is fine. And the last two cards, I'm running the coder package. The microcoder, you can send this off terahertz. I'll show the combo for it in a sec. You send it off terahertz, you bring it back with Splash Mage, turn those into a heat soul, and you get to search this. So you end on an Omni Negate, Counter Trap, and the Super Factorial, which is pretty broken. It's really hard to break that. That's it for the side. I'll just show the combo real quick. So you can do this combo with either Circular or Defensor, plus any extender. It doesn't matter if it's like a low extender or like a good extender. Then like any combination of other cards that just equal these bodies can work. So for this, I'll just show Circular plus Addition. The only difference with the diameter one is you might have to send a name with terahertz, but I'm gonna show this. So you start with your Circular, dump your Sigma, revive your Sigma. Don't activate Circular here if you want to help play around roll. Especially your Addition. Then you could overlay these two to an Allen Burst Shen. Now you can stack these two so you get both your searches at the same time. So with your Allen Burst Shen, you're going to search Diameter, and with your Circular, you're going to search Super Factorial. Now you can normal summon your Diameter, bring back one of these. Slide these over. Then you could go into a Splash Mage with these two. Don't use your Splash Mage yet because you need to save this for later. Link one of these off into your link decoder. So now when you link these two off into a transcode, the decoder will come back because you used 2300. Then you can use the transcode talker to bring this back. We're still not going to use this effect yet. We want to link the these other two off to go into the terahertz. Now with the terahertz, we're going to send the microcoder. And now you can use your Splash Mage to revive the microcoder. And you're going to link these two off into your Heat Soul. And then the coder is going to trigger to search you the conflict. And then on your opponent's turn, this can also send you the Desave Worm from the extra deck to get you a Spell Trap Negate. If, like I said, if you use Defensor instead of Circular, you might have to send Diameter with this send instead to get the names in rotation. And then with the Heat Soul, you get to draw 2 cards as well. So this was only off 2 cards. So you're going to have the 2 traps plus 5 more cards after your opponent's standby phase. And then this is a lot to deal with. Because like you play so many non-engine, you're going to have at least 1, probably 2 in your other 5 cards, in addition to the Spell Trap Negate and these 2 traps. And honestly, the 2 traps are like enough on its own most of the time. And then you just end the game from there. They either scoop or they just can't do much. They pass and you kill them. This card by itself like just gets up to 8,000 just off the 2 sends. So if this card sticks around, it literally just ends the game on the spot. So yeah, that's about it. I like the way this deck is built a lot right now. I feel like it's I wouldn't change anything really besides maybe like swapping the Eclipses out to the Book of Moons potentially, like I said, and then maybe instead of one tactics playing something else. But we'll see how that goes. But for now, I like the way it is. Yeah, let me know if you've been playing this deck, how it's been going for you. Hopefully next ban list kills Kashtira and limits Magnamut. That helped this deck out a lot. I feel like this deck is in a pretty good position for the Worlds format too, to be honest. So I can see it definitely, a few people playing it there, so see how it goes. That's about it. Have a nice day. Peace.